Hello, I'm Lori Smith from the University of Northern Iowa. I am your Northwest Iowa Student Teaching Coordinator. Please feel free to jot down this information that you see on the first slide. My email and phone number are available for you. We will be communicating several times throughout the semester. You might find it helpful to have the Student Teaching Handbook in front of you or a paper and pencil to take some notes on. I live in Spirit Lake, Iowa, with my husband Dave and 4 children. Together we have 2 dogs and 1 cat. I used to be a physical education instructor for pre-K through 12th grade students at the Price Laboratory School, where I worked with thousands of college students. Been an author of many publications, did various research projects at the university, and I was also a professional presenter for various conferences. My favorite presentation was Active Learning, where I had the opportunity to talk to teachers about brain research, kinesthetic learning, and how to integrate classroom concepts into a physical education setting. When I worked with the reading conferences, I taught teachers how to get their students up and moving in the classroom using various activities that integrated classroom concepts and movement, and the benefits of moving while in the classroom. We are now preparing the future teachers. We're going to learn from each other, share ideas, talk about 21st century learning, and express our passion for learning. In the handbook, you will notice that we have 5 sections. We will be talking about philosophy, general information, responsibilities of the school and the university, observing and evaluating, and what to do when you're working with your student teacher. In section number 1, there's general information that gives us an idea about the program overview. First of all, there's teaching part. There's different conferences that we will be doing. The students will be engaged in reflective journaling. They will be attending different seminars, and they will also be working on a teacher work sample. In addition to their student teaching experience, they will be doing other assignments. I mentioned the teacher work sample. That one is only done during the first experience or first placement. And I will be sending the CTs and student teachers information about the progression or phasing of that particular assignment. The student teachers will also be doing reflective journaling, engaging in different mini blogs. They will have a checklist for you to fill out using your initials to check when they have performed different activities throughout the semester. During their second experience, the student teachers will be doing a portfolio with the Iowa Teaching Standards. They will also be going to different seminars and ICN presentations throughout the experience. In section 2, there is a part about student-teacher absences. There's information on that on page 15 and 16 of the Student Teaching Handbook. The student teachers will need to fill out that absence sheet approximately 48 hours prior to the date that they will be absent. Certainly, if in a case of an emergency or illness, the student teacher can simply fill this out and hand it to me at a later date. But page 15 and 16 have all that information. The student teachers get up to 16 absences in a semester. They must call their CT and provide lesson plans if they are teaching at the time of their absence. So treat it basically like a substitute teaching situation. In addition, they must call and email the UNI coordinator to verify their absences. If the CT, which is the cooperating teacher, is absent, in section 2, if you see page 17, there's a discussion about what needs to happen in case of the absence of a cooperating teacher. If your CT is absent, the school must have a substitute teacher or a certified teacher in the classroom with the student teacher. The student teacher can teach the lessons if he or she is prepared and ready to do so. In section 3, there's a discussion about the responsibilities of the student teacher. On page 21 and 22, you will see that there are the responsibilities of the student teacher. Now, there are a lot more listed in the handbook than what I show on this slide, but we really stress the importance of being on time. And being on time is what you think they should be there for. Typically, they're at the school during that contract time hours that the teacher is. But if you need them to stay later or they should come in earlier, please communicate that with your student teacher. They need to be prepared, be professional, and certainly be caring and kind. We have discussed professional dress with our student teachers, but at minimum they should follow the school's dress code. Please discuss this with this cooperating teacher prior to the first day. We recommend business casual, and we ask that the student teachers attend to personal hygiene. They should look professional. Understanding that some school districts do something different on Friday where sometimes there's more of a casual atmosphere, but just communicate that with student teachers if that is your expectation. In Section 3, there's an area where there's the responsibility of the cooperating teacher. And again, the book will list more of those responsibilities than what I am providing for you here on page 23 and 24. The student teacher should share teaching materials and share information with the student teacher that will be helpful in planning lesson plans. We want this cooperating teacher to model teaching strategies and management strategies prior to the student teacher taking over the classroom. And throughout the experience, we want you to mentor the student teacher, and you'll be in charge of evaluating the student teacher. Please take the time in that first week to discuss school policies and procedures with your student teacher. In Section 4, there's a lot of discussion about the evaluation process. On page 32 and 33, you will note that there are some valuable pieces of information that talk about giving feedback to your student teacher. It's really an ongoing process. Excuse me. Your teachers, student teachers, will need feedback from you almost on a daily basis. We ask that you try to do some daily informal conferencing and maybe some weekly formal reflections so that the student teacher can hear feedback from you as well. And certainly at any time communicate with your UNI coordinator about what's going on in the classroom as well. The University of Northern Iowa has a process called a Notice of Concern. So on pages 34 and 35, you will see that there is some information on student-teacher performance problems. This process with the Notice of Concern will be something that would be important for you to take some detailed notes on in case you have a situation with your college student that you would like to have documented. And together, I will sit down with the cooperating teacher and the student teacher, and we will develop an action plan for improvement. Sometimes that requires more visits to the school and to see the student teacher, but that is up for discussion during that process of an action plan. There are 3 formal evaluations that will be done throughout each experience. The first one is a 2-week progress report. The second one is a midterm evaluation. And the fourth one is a final evaluation. During the 2-week progress report, you will find that on page 39, there is a form that should be filled out, and it's simply a checklist of things that we hope they've experienced in the first 2 weeks of their student teaching. And then the second part, you will be simply circling if they are acceptable or they need improvement in certain areas. This one will be discussed at the first visit during week 2 or 3. You will copy and fill out this form and also sign it. The midterm evaluation reports are also found in Section 4. You will note that there is an elementary, secondary section, an early childhood section, and a library media section. The midterm reports are on page 43 if you're in elementary section or secondary. If you're an early childhood major, it'll be on page 81, and a library media, it'll be on page 123. During the midterm evaluation, we will be discussing some goals for improvement. We will be discussing the evaluation, and it'll be collected at one of the visits in addition to a formal observation by the coordinator that same day. Details on each characteristic in that midterm are also found on the pages following each midterm evaluation. You will see that start after page 43 and page 83. There's also a final evaluation in section 4. Again, in the 3 sections for elementary secondary teachers, you will see that page 75 and 77 have information and a bubble sheet for your final evaluation. Early childhood majors, yours will be on page 116 and 120, and library media, you will find yours on page 125 and 127. This evaluation will go into the UNI system, and the CT will write a narrative using the expectations of the final evaluation section. This evaluation will include the bubble sheet that is found on those pages that we discussed before, and you will include that written narrative. Now, the expectations for the written narrative are found on these pages from page 75 to 76, pages 116 to 117, and for library media, 125 to 126. Again, details for each characteristics that you will be marking will be found between the midterm and the final, so they're on the sheets or the pages prior to that final evaluation. Please use those to help you decide where you would like to put the marks for your student teacher. It's very helpful. They have detailed descriptions